Another day, another blessing. Psalm 23 is not just happy imagery about sheep and green pastures. Psalm 23 challenges us to trust God like never before, that He's already provided everything we truly need. When we have faith in the provision promised in verse 1, we can have the peace He talks about in verse 2. Then, like the psalmist, we can say, He restores my soul. Think of the people you run to tell when you have a problem. You can tell other people about your troubles till you're blue in the face. But there's only one person you can tell who restores your soul when you come to Him. You might say, that provision and that peace, that's good for me right now, but how can I have assurance about my future? Verse 3 answers that question for us. It says, He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Probably the most frequent question that Christians ask is how to find God's plan for their life. In my years in ministry, is probably the question I'm asked the most. And what the Bible shows us here and in other places is that when we put our trust in God and try to live a righteous life, God's going to make sure that we get where He wants us to go. Now you might say, hold up, that sounds too vague and sketchy. How can I be sure I'm going in the right direction? We have the strongest assurance you can possibly imagine that this works. God puts His own name on the guarantee. It says He does this for His name's sake. He'll make sure you get where you need to go, and He promises by His own name. Just think about that. God's saying if you don't get where you need to be, He's not even being God. Don't take verse 3 as a promise all on its own. Remember the verses that came before. If you trust in God's provision and you accept God's peace, you'll find God's path. Did you know that sheep are not animals who like adventure? They like to play things safe. They like to walk the same ground every day because they know it's safe. Same old paths, same old routines. Safe. The shepherd's job is to lead those sheep to fresh grass and new pastures where they wouldn't otherwise go. Your life might not always go in the direction that you had planned, but the Lord as your shepherd is taking you to a new pasture. The pasture you need, even if you don't recognize it yet. The right path for you. He guarantees it by His own name. This has been Luke Taylor. Whatever you're doing today, look at it with an eternal perspective.